Okay, our last task for this section is going to be to hook up our register to our account service that we're using in our Angular application. So let's open up the account service, as we're going to need to add the function inside here to actually register a new user. And the code for this is going to be almost identical to what we're doing for the login here. But I'm going to create it as a separate function for clarity, but I am going to be lazy and I'm going to copy the login function and pretty much paste it below. So the register function is going to be called register, and we just need to update the URL because otherwise we're still sending up the same information as it stands at the moment. Obviously that's going to change a bit later when we have more information to take about our users, but for the time being we're just going to switch that to account/register rather than login. And then we're going to get the user back from this method, and we're going to effectively log in the user as soon as they have registered, and then we're going to set the current user as well. So then we can go back to our register component, and we're going to need to inject the account service into this. So I'm going to say private account service equals inject, and I'm going to pass in the account service to that parameter. And then inside the register, I'm going to say this.account service.register and say this.model, so that we pass up our username and password. And because this is effectively using an observable, we have to subscribe. And then in the next, what are we going to do next? Then we're going to get our response, and we'll open up curly brackets and just console.log any response. And we're going to call the cancel method to close the register form by using this.cancel. And we'll also accommodate any errors, and we'll just use the console to log out any errors just now. We will take a look at error handling soon, because that is something that we need to accommodate, and we do have some good options with Angular, but not yet. For now, we're just going to log things out to the console. So that should be it. And if we go and take a look at our browser, and let's attempt to register a new user, and we've got code that we don't need anymore. Who is your favorite user? Who cares? That was just for a demonstration of input components. So let's take the opportunity to clean a few things up as well. And inside our register component HTML, let's just remove that select in its entirety. We are not going to be using that. And let's also go to our home component, and we will remove the input property with the users from home component. We also don't need that anymore. Of course we get the error now, but we can go back to our register component, and we can also remove the input property as well from here, which should clean up any errors that we have. And inside our home component, we've got the call to go and get the users, and I'm just going to leave that in place for the time being. We'll come back and clean up this stuff when we're ready to. So back to the browser, and if I click on register, and let's pick a name I haven't used yet, and let's say Harry in this case, and just use a very simple password, and then click register. So we can see that we're effectively logged in, so that did work, but we are getting undefined. Why is that? Register component line 20 is returning undefined into our console. But it does appear that we're logged in, but let's take a look at why we're getting undefined. So inside our register component, line 20, this is the console log. And our response back from our API, well, it's saying it's undefined, but is it really? Because if we go and take a look at the network request where we've got the register, then inside the preview and the response, we do see that we're getting back the username and the token. Also in our application, we've got this stored inside local storage, so that means we definitely are getting something back from the API. But why didn't we see it? Well, when it comes to our account service, and if we take a look at our register method, then we're returning here. But when we use the map function, we're effectively projecting something. We're transforming our response in some way. So if we do want to return the user from this method, then below the if statement, we would need to, at this stage, return the user, and then our client component, the component that's calling this method, would have access to whatever's inside that user object. Which of course, because we're not really transforming the object, is going to be the user. And if we just go back to our browser, I'll just log out and register another fake user. And this time I'll just use Jim as the username and password and click, well, let's go to the console first, just to prove my point really. Click register, and this time we do see the username and token in the response. Okay, and that was our goal for this section, is to make sure that we can log in and register users on our client application. And it gave us an opportunity to look at certain Angular concepts like services and communication between components as well along the way. So we're finished with this section though, so let's go ahead and save our changes into source control. And I'll just go to the version control, and I'm going to stage the changes and then say end of section 5 as the commit message, commit the changes and sync the changes with GitHub. And I'm at the stage now where I'm just going to click OK, don't show again, and sync those up with GitHub. And that has happened. So we'll wrap up this section with a summary.